Hey, my name is Ben Fraser. I'm the founder of Ready.Set.Van, and behind me I've got a Sprinter 170. This is one of our latest Hudson builds. It's an absolutely beautiful home. I'm super excited to share it with you guys. I'm also super excited for our clients who are gonna come take it probably next week sometime. They're a young family, they have lots of trips planned, they love to surf and do all kinds of different things. In fact, I think it's likely that this van might get shipped to Puerto Rico and it might live in Puerto Rico for a while, which is pretty cool. So yeah, super excited for them and excited to share it with you. So without further ado, let's go check out this incredibly capable and beautiful home on wheels. Okay, so starting up front, we've got the Tenzing brush guard made by Space. This is our first time installing it, and so far we really like it. I think it looks really good, and I think it's going to provide a good level of protection to the front end. Of course, we put a set of BF Goodrich KO2 tires on here with a set of method rims. These tires are fantastic. They do great in snow, they do great in mud and sand and things like that. They're kind of like a do anything tire, so they're really great. And then also we upgraded the suspension in the rear. So all we did there was we upgraded the spring pack to give it a little more lift, reduce any sag or body roll and things like that. Under the hood, we've got the ARB onboard air compressor, and that is going to come in really handy for these guys because they are planning on taking this onto the beach, into the soft sand quite frequently. That's kind of one of their main use cases for this, and so that's going to make it so that you can air down these tires, get them real low, get a nice big contact patch so they don't sink into the sand, and then when they're done, they can just fire up the compressor, fill all the tires back up again, and then get back on the pavement. So that's really good. I think this is a nice combination of features that's going to work really well for what it is they're going to be using this van for. And up top, we've got the Orion awning. We've got 350 watts of solar up there. Also, our polycarbonate walkable deck that's built over the solar, so they can walk around up there. That's really great. They also have Starlink up there. This is the larger Starlink that's permanently mounted. They are planning on doing a lot of work in this van, both of them, and having that excellent connection, whether they're here, whether they're in Puerto Rico, wherever they are, that is going to be critical for them to be able to do their work. So that's going to be really super for them. So before we go inside, I want to take a moment just to talk about a sort of invisible detail that exists in this kitchen unit that's right here. And I think it's a good example of really what it means to take the time to do something right. This corner, you can't really tell it from just looking at it, but actually this whole corner is made of solid maple. The reason for that is almost exclusively for durability. This corner, is likely to take abuse from people coming in and out, things smacking into it, but even more so from periodic water exposure. A typical way to finish a piece of plywood is to put edge banding on it, and there's nothing wrong with edge banding, but edge banding in the wrong application will fail very quickly. And one of those is if you have edge banding in a place that is going to get wet, that edge banding is going to separate very quickly. 3 to 5 exposures to moisture will cause the glue on the edge banding to fail, and it'll start peeling off. And so if this was edge banded, might be common for people to do, it's just not going to be very durable. Whereas by using a solid piece of hardwood, that means that this whole corner, we can also round over the corner, which is nice, but it means this whole corner is really going to be impervious to water damage, unless you submerge the entire van. It's an important little thing that isn't really visible, but it's one of those things that really does contribute to the longevity of the build. And for us, it's super important that everything we do, the goal is for all of our work to survive for the life of the vehicle. I'm rambling too long about that. Let's go inside. So here we are in the dinette area, and if you can believe it, this is actually the first time that we've sent out the driver's seat and the bifold seat to all get custom upholstered in leather. And I kind of can't even believe that that's the case. I mean, honestly, I don't know why we haven't done it before. And it is so nice. It is so nice. Just having all 3 of these seats being in the same beautiful leather is just such an upgrade. It really just elevates this whole space. Previously, there's a reason I've never shot a video of myself sitting in this seat before, because normally it's just like a black automotive vinyl or black automotive leather, and it just doesn't tie in with the rest of the home very well. Having these seats in a leather that matches everything else really, really kind of ties this whole space together with the rest of the home, makes this seem less like the car part, even though there are car parts around me. It's just really, really nice. Our clients really wanted us to do this, and and honestly, I'm really grateful for them kind of getting us to get over the hump and do it. It turns out that right around the corner from us is a really, really fantastic automotive upholsterer. And that's actually one of the nice things about where we are here in Trenton, is that because this area has such a rich manufacturing history, if you look for them, there are really, really excellent specialists in their field all around here. And it's kind of a wonderful thing, especially in a world where not very many people make things. It's nice to be in a place where there's a high concentration of really skilled people in specific trades. But anyway, we have a great person who did this work, and I love it. I absolutely love it. One of the reasons I'm also sitting in this seat in this video instead of, usually I sit in that seat, and you kind of see back there, but this is the seat where one of the owners of this van is going to be spending a lot of time. He's planning on taking this van down to the surf breaks, parking it on the beach, and then working and then surfing and kind of going back and forth and doing that. Sounds like a great life. But for him, his whole plan is, he'll be sitting in the seat. He's going to have his laptop right here. That TV, that's actually not a TV, it's a computer monitor. Computer monitor that's wired to USB-C that's right over here. So he'll be able to hook into that. He can pull that closer. It'll come quite a bit closer. And then he's going to put another small screen right here and be able to do his work, which is something related to markets. That's about all I know. But he needs a lot of live data. And for that, of course, he's got the Starlink up on the roof. So that's going to feed all of that. He's going to be really hooked up. One of the other things here, so this is actually something you wouldn't necessarily know. But so you can see that this table, it's got a Lagoon mounting system for it. And anybody who's ever used a Lagoon table mount system knows that they can be frustrating, and they can be have a lot of flex in them. And that flex, like, I'm talking about, like, you push down and the whole thing kind of like sags a lot. The reason for that is because there's this whole huge amount of leverage on the mounting plate. It's sort of an unreasonable amount, in my opinion, for a table, unless it's a very, very small table. And for us, when we knew that we were going to be using this bifold seat, which, by the way, I'll show you in a minute. This seat folds into a bed. So we knew that we needed to be able to remove this instead of our previous welded table frame that we've done on previous builds. We knew we had to switch to the Lagoon system or something similar. Anyway, one of the things with this was trying to solve that some of those issues that people have with Lagoon, and that main issue is the mounting point for how the Lagoon is actually held in place, how that vertical upright is held in place. So our solution was two things. One was, instead of having one mounting plate, now we have two mounting plates. So that that increases the, kind of lengthens the fulcrum, if you will. And the other thing is that, what you mount it to makes all the difference in the world. So if you got some, flimsy little thing and you mount your table to it, like it's going to kind of suck. So what we did here actually was we designed and laser cut a piece of aluminum. So it's a beefy 1/4 inch piece of aluminum plate that we laser cut that fits into this whole wall and bolts into the chassis of the van, and then it has mounting points for the Lagoon on it. And this thick piece of aluminum is just the perfect thing to bolt the Lagoon to. So this thing is solid as all can be. It's really wonderful. I'm really happy with the way that all came out. And again, that's another example. Sorry, I don't know why I'm talking about this, but it's another example of what's, why it's great to be where we are here in Trenton, because again, like, there are these fantastic small fabricating shops that exist around here, and it's great. Really, really enjoying collaborating with a lot of the people that are around here. So, of course, some things I need to talk about here. So, this is an Arctic turn window. I love this window. I've talked about it in other videos. It awnings out. It's got an integrated bug screen and a blackout shade that you can pull down. And me personally, the reason I love van life is because I love being outside. And I think that's the case for most people who are embracing van life. Not everyone, but most people. And why I love this window so much is because you open this window and it's like you're outside. It's just so much fresh air, so much openness. You can have it open in the rain. The bifold seat. So really nice thing about this seat. This is a double seat belted seat. 2 adults can fit on that seat. They're not going to love it. but they can do it. 2 kids, perfect. 1 kid and an adult, totally good. That's just the nature of working inside of the amount of space we have here in the van. This seat also folds into a bed. And so basically to do that, what you're gonna do is we're gonna remove the table, we're gonna remove the table leg, we're gonna fold the bottom of the bench seat forward, and then we're gonna kind of fold the back down a little bit, scoot the back a little bit, I don't know, a couple more moves, and we get the whole thing flat, and yeah, and then you're good to lie down, and it's reasonably comfortable. I would be perfectly happy sleeping on that bed. I think it works well for, you know, if you have a guest, obviously be great for kids or even teenagers. Of course, below that seat, we have a pull-out, you know, a pretty big drawer under that seat, comes out a long way. And then above us here, we've got 2 overhead compartments. The first one is just storage, and then one behind it just has a microwave in it. We always try and put the microwave, if we can, put it behind one of the overhead doors because it's not a particularly attractive appliance, and you only use it sort of infrequently for short periods of time. But it's really nice having a microwave on a van, I have to say. I think that covers it for this area. Let's hit the kitchen. All right, so let's talk about the kitchen. This kitchen is actually what we refer to as our 2/3 kitchen. There's some flexibility in the Hudson layout for being able to change out some different things. And so there are 2 different kitchens that we can put in a Hudson. This is the one that we call our 2/3 kitchen. There is also our full kitchen. The full kitchen extends about another 23 inches. And then it also has a fold-out table and things that go out on the slider. Also, by the way, you know, we have a few different seat options here as well. We can do a single person version of this seat that is about 2/3 the width. But kind of designed for 1 person, and then some other options as well. So anyway, there's some sort of, you know, modularity, if you will, built into the Hudson layout. So anyway, this is our 2/3 kitchen. You know, these guys, I don't think are planning on doing a lot of cooking in the van. They'd like to be able to do some if necessary. But it's not like that's a major activity that they're expecting to be doing. So the smaller kitchen makes sense. The smaller kitchen also makes sense if you have this double belted seat. One of the features, of course, with this kitchen is the countertop. Folds up here, so we have a countertop extension. Instead of using the sort of the ratcheting, there's a lot of crappy hardware out there that people use for their countertop extensions, and I hate all of it. But this countertop extension is supported by these 300-pound drawer slide, or a single 300-pound drawer slide. So this is like super solid. It's really great. I'm somebody who I love to cook, and strangely, the part of cooking I like the most is prep. So I like being able to kind of spread all my stuff out and, you know, be able to work and kind of, you know, bash things out. But anyway, you know, having a counter that would be flexy or even worse, would rattle and make noise when you're driving down the road is sort of unacceptable. So this has been a really, really great solution for us ever since we started it a couple years ago, and it just works out great. And of course, it just kind of flows seamlessly, you know, across as well. So one thing I should mention actually about this countertop. So recently we kind of changed our process for these butcher block countertops. So, you know, we do a lot of birch butcher block countertops and a lot of walnut butcher block countertops. And in the past, we've always used high quality mineral oil to seal and maintain the butcher block, just like you would for a cutting board or anything like that, any kind of wood thing you have in your kitchen. And that has worked fine, but it requires a small amount of maintenance from the owner, from the client, throughout time. And that's just like, you know, one thing that they have to keep doing is to kind of keep every, you know, month or so, you oil it again, and it's beautiful. It looks absolutely fantastic. It feels great. But we were looking for a way to get away from that. And this countertop is one of the ones that we've done recently where we've kind of switched to a new method. And this has been fantastic. It is labor intensive, I will tell you. All of our countertops and almost every part in this van is cut on our CNC machine. And that allows us a tremendous amount of precision, which is great. For things like, you know, recessing these parts into it and getting everything just right. But even so, there's still going to be little things throughout that when it comes off the CNC, you know, we're going to dry fit it, check everything. There's going to be like little things, you know, making sure this edge is absolutely perfect, making sure this edge is absolutely perfect. There's just a lot of little things. And we realized with this countertop that basically after it comes off the CNC, there's about 20 more hours of labor that goes into each of these countertops to get them dialed in. And the first is just a quick, rough kind of going over, cleaning things up, getting everything just right, but before the finishing stage. And then when it gets ready for the finishing stage, we now do a 6-stage finishing process. And the first step is actually we completely soak the countertop in this curing oil that is a food safe oil that does cure very hard. But we soak this as heavily as we possibly can, as early as we can, and get basically those oils soaked into the wood fibers as much as possible. And from there, then there is a kind of a classic finishing process where we go to finer and finer grits, etc., which anybody who's done woodworking is familiar with. All of the finish is wiped on. It's all food safe as well, of course, but it's all wiped on. And the last two steps of that whole finishing process, it's literally taking just hand burnishing that finish. And it's like you take like 1 ounce of finish and you just go over this whole thing and really just fill any of the tiny little pores. The end result has been fantastic. I mean, it's a huge upgrade. I don't know. I'm very excited about it. It takes us a lot longer to do one of these countertops now as a result. Because of that, saturation soak at the beginning where we're kind of trying to really penetrate the wood fibers as much as we can. This is also tremendously much more protected. It's also protected from user error. So if our owners are out there and they're not, doing anything to take care of their countertop is still going to be fine. That's a kind of a process thing that's changed here at Ready.Set.Van, and it has been a remarkable upgrade, and I'm really happy about that. It is taking quite a bit more time, but in the scheme of things, one of these vans is takes about 1,000 hours of work to produce. Believe it or not, an extra 20 hours maybe doesn't seem that significant. I don't know, but anyway. Wow, sorry. I will move on. So we got our faucet here, normal faucet. This is our Ready sink that we use all the time. Of course, because everything's cut on the CNC, just like everything, just like our overheads, everything's grain matched. So that just means that the natural grain of the wood passes through. This visually looks like it belongs here. Everything passes through. Of course, we do induction cooktops in all of our vans. In this particular van, you could either do a single cooktop or you could do no cooktop and just have a portable one. And that's quite popular, actually. And so then you have this space for normal use. One thing that people often ask is, well, what do you do about protecting the bed if you're cooking right next to your bed? And we give all of our clients a piece of acrylic, basically, that goes right here. So it's just a little piece of acrylic. Stick it right in here. It's kind of a splash guard. That way you're not going to get spaghetti sauce all over your mattress. So nothing to worry about there. Below our kitchen, we've got a trash compartment here. We have our CRX-80 fridge. It has a freezer compartment up top, so it actually makes ice. It's been a super fridge. I think we've installed probably about 150 of those so far. We got another drawer up here. All of our drawers, by the way, this is something that is unique to Ready.Set.Van, but sort of new to Ready.Set.Van. We sort of came up with our own way of doing drawer locking. I really hate all of the existing RV and boat latching systems that are out there. None of them are great, basically. And all of our drawers are on self-closing drawer slides, just like you might have at home. I was very frustrated because all of these drawer latching systems, they require you to do different things, like you got to push a button in and then it pops out, and then you pull the thing out, or you have to pull excessively hard on something to get it to unlock. And I wanted drawers that would just work beautifully like they work in your home. And the way we accomplish that is by installing electromagnets on the back of all of the drawers. So in the back of all our cabinets, there are electromagnets that when this drawer closes, it makes contact with that electromagnet. There's a ferrous plate on the back of the drawer. It contacts the electromagnet. When you turn the van on, it runs power to all of those electromagnets. They all lock. If you tried to open this drawer with the van on, that's about 50 pounds of force to try and break that magnetic lock. And they work great. It's been phenomenal. In fact, it kind of makes me mad a little bit. I don't know why. The RV industry makes me mad, I guess. And I feel like this is a problem that should have been solved a long time ago. But anyway, so that's something that exists on all Ready.Set.Van vans, with the exception of the base camper, and that'll be switching over soon. That's a super, super system. One of the switches over here, this little switch, is actually a bypass switch for those locks. So if you were idling the van because you were charging your batteries or I don't know why, and you wanted to come back and you wanted to open a drawer, you could hit this switch. It would disable those automatic locks, so you could get the drawer open, get your stuff out, and then close it back up. Oh, one last thing on the kitchen. All of our kitchens have a little hidden kick drawer that is below the fridge, which is an awesome place to hide whatever you want to hide, because nobody knows it's there. Even if you had a safe, people that are going to look at the safe and say, oh yeah, like I know what's in the safe, I think I get what's in the safe. This little drawer, it's like hidden, nobody knows about it. You can put stuff down there, and probably no one will find it if they were to get into your van. Let's check out the shower. So what we have here is just a classic Ready.Set.Van shower. It's a bright white interior with white acrylic that I absolutely love. The acrylic has a sort of a glass-like finish to it. It's very smooth and very easy to clean. It takes suction cups well, which is wonderful. And it just feels really, really nice. Along with that, on the floor, we have our stainless steel shower pan. These are beautiful shower pans that are made just for us. And then on top of that, of course, we have this cedar decking. And the cedar is really just a nice, it's just a nice touch. It's nice to have, wood under your feet. It's kind of grounding, and I don't know, I love it. It looks good. It comes out easily. It's easy to clean, so that's also good. The toilet in this van, these clients went with a Thetford, but we can put just about any toilet in here, so it doesn't really matter. And then, of course, we got our shower mixer over here. This van has a 4-gallon hot water heater tank in it, which is good for about a 10-minute shower, something like that. Your mileage may vary. You could get that a little further or a little bit less. It's really kind of depends how you manage it. And then here we have this sliding door, and that's a Nautilus sliding door. It works great. It kind of squeegees off the vinyl as it comes back into the roller. It's one of those products that just works great. And I love it. Let's check out the bed area. So a key feature of every Hudson that we build is this big king-size bed. It's not a true king-size bed. If you have a king-size bed at home, it's going to be bigger than this. But somewhere out there, there's a mattress professional who was like, you know what? We're going to make this size bed and we're going to call it an RV Short King. The fact is, it is the perfect size mattress to put in this spot. It's wall to wall inside the van, and I believe it's 75 inches from there down to here. I think actually we have a little more space, a couple more inches that we add on either end. So it's big. It's as big as you can possibly go. Who wouldn't want this much space? In my van, I have it's a full-size mattress, which is totally fine. But this would be nice. We've got a set of overheads on the driver's side here. We can do overheads on both sides. So we've got some other vans that we've done. If you go back in our history, you'll see them where we have, a mirror image of these overheads over here. And that creates, double the storage. I have to say, I really like it with just the one set of overheads. I like the clear sight lines that you get from that end of the van all the way down, not having these overheads. I think this is a great setup. I think they're going to love it. They have young kids who are probably going to be climbing into bed and other things too. So they got kids are probably going to be jumping around in here. Of course, we've got these 2 Arctic turn windows on the sides here. These are the same style windows and company as the dinette window up there. So these awning out as well. They have a integrated bug screen and blackout shade. Those windows in particular have the potential to create like a really wonderful situation in here. Turn, the Max fan's right behind me here. Let's just say it's a kind of warm summer evening. Maybe it's humid. Maybe it's been raining outside. Air's a little thick and stagnant. You turn this fan on exhaust, so it's blowing air out. You crack these 2 windows on the side, and suddenly you have just cool, fresh air just pouring in over the bed. Seems like where it's at. So those windows are great, I think, to be able to look out, see what's going on outside. But I think much more than that, the opportunity for airflow over the bed area is pretty extraordinary. So I think that's really great. Of course, above me, we also have our air conditioner. So this is a 9500 BTU unit made by Hudson, if that's how you say the name. It's great. We love that unit. It pumps out a ton of cold, incredibly fast. And of course, over the rear pillar here, we have our fabric wrapped trim, which is something that's relatively new for us. We never really did it on the ProMasters because it wasn't really needed. But on the Sprinter in particular, it's you know what, it's just a really nice upgrade, kind of ties it all together. Also, lastly, I totally forgot, on either side in the back we also have USB outlets, so charging your phones or whatever else you got to do, you can do a piece of cake back there. So let's check out the garage right below. All right, so here we are at the garage. This garage is enormous. Because we have a king size bed above, we have the biggest garage we've ever made. It is, I believe, about 80 inches long. It is enormous. It is just a tremendous amount of storage space. The garage in every single one of our build is sort of sacred space that people absolutely love, and it's a super important part of their build, because this is the place where you're going to pack all the things that are going to really elevate your trip and your journey to the next level. It's where you're going to be able to pack your bike or your one wheel or your inflatable kayak or your stand-up paddleboard or any of these things that are the things that you like to do when you go places. We have people who are photographers and they have all their photography equipment back here, and you name it. It's the place where you put all of your toys, all the things that are going to really enable those great adventures. Beyond that, there are all the other things that come with life that you're going to put back here. So, for these guys, they have young kids, so I'm sure there's going to be lots of kids' toys back here. It's nice to have this big space that's flexible. You can put whatever you need back here. Right at the end there, that's a pass-through door to the main living space. All along the side is our electrical cabinet stuff. So all of these doors make serviceability and access super easy. For the most part, no one's ever gonna need to go in there, but if you need to, you can, and it's a piece of cake. We've got 945 amp hours of batteries on board. That is a huge amount of energy. That really enables, primarily that's going to enable off-grid air conditioning usage. That's the main purpose for having a really big battery bank, is for that AC usage off-grid. Air conditioning and many of the other components are going to be run off this 3,000 watt Victron inverter. That thing is a beast. It is the best money can buy, frankly. Of course, we also have our solar charge controllers, our DC-DC chargers, and a number of other items in this compartment. All that stuff will stay tucked away, and no one really needs to be getting in there. And on the passenger side, we have our plumbing system. So inside this cabinet, we have our 40-gallon freshwater tank. That's going to last a long time. That's a lot of water. We also have a 4-gallon hot water heater tank. That's good for about a 10-minute shower or so. And then down here, we have our pumps, valves, etc. And one of the things that's actually really great about the way we do our plumbing system here at Ready.Set.Van is we wanted to make it so that the process of winterizing your van was really, really simple. I absolutely hate like the traditional RVs that use that kind of like antifreeze stuff that you have to put in your water lines. It's like a potable antifreeze, which just is awful. You put that in your system and it never tastes the same, and it's just awful. There are other things as well that I wanted to get rid of. So we designed this entire water system so that the entire thing can be drained strictly by gravity. And so we have a number of electric ball valves that are located throughout the system. They're all actuated by a single switch. So literally you flip one switch, all of those ball valves go to their open position, and all of the water in the entire system drains out via gravity. Gravity is very dependable, and drains out under the van. And so within about 10 or 15 minutes, everything's drained out, there's nothing left to do, and that's it. So it's been a very, very good system. It's reduced the number of phone calls we get from our clients asking how do I winterize my system again? Flip the switch, that's it. It's amazing. Filling your water system is also better than it used to be. We used to do a gravity fill system. So there would be like a hole, basically typically up here, like a gravity fill spot. And you put your hose in there and you fill up the tank. The problem with that is that it takes like 15, maybe 20 minutes to fill your water tank. Let's say 15 minutes. You're gonna forget. Like sooner or later, we did it here all the time. We were like, I'll come back and get that. And the problem is that you forget, and then it fills up, and then when it gets full, water just starts spraying out everywhere out of the gravity fill, and it turns into a situation pretty quickly. So we realized we needed to come up with a system that was better than that. And so this is a drip-free positive locking connector that we use up there. The female part of that screws onto the end of a hose, and basically you just take the hose, you click it onto there. There's like literally not a single drip will come out of there ever. The water will start filling up your tank. And so you can go off and, you know, go get a cup of coffee or something. When the tank gets totally full, the overflow water will go out an overflow pipe that's designed in the back here and down, and it will come out underneath the van. And so when you start seeing water pouring out underneath your van, that means your tank is totally topped up. It's great. You unclick this, literally not a single drip of water will come out of here, and it's super. So it's been a huge improvement. Of course, also we have a shower mixer over here and an outdoor shower here. So you have hot and cold outdoor shower, which is great. And that up in the corner over there is the light switch for our garage lights. So obviously, you know, having good illumination in your garage is great when you're digging around looking for your stuff. So that wraps it up back here. Let's go back around the side and we'll finish this video up. So thanks for watching this tour all the way through. I realize I spent a fair amount of time talking about processes during this video, and I don't know if that's interesting to people or not. For me, I've become increasingly aware just how important it is and how difficult it is to create a really, really excellent process for any given task. And it's one of the things that's made me really appreciate our best craftspeople here, because it's hard to find people who really care about what they do. It's even harder to find people who care about what they do and they care about how it is done. And the how it is done part is incredibly important, especially in what we do, where we're not just making a cabinet, we're making a cabinet that's going in a van and is going to be like experiencing like earthquake-like experiences on a daily basis. So anyway, it's just something I've been thinking about a lot recently. I don't know if it's interesting to any of you. If it is, like, do me a favor, throw a comment below. We don't respond to every comment, but I read pretty much all of them. And if you'd like to see more process stuff, there is so much process stuff here about how we do what we do and the reasons why we do it that way that I could share. I just don't know if anybody wants to sit through all that. So anyway, I really, really appreciate it. I'm super excited for these guys to take this van, have their family go create lots of experiences in this van. And yeah, I appreciate you being here and hope you're doing well. Peace.